The biggest surprise was Benni McCarthy. Reason why, because I shared a room with him. I didn't know what to do in the room. I don't know if I must touch the TV remote or the aircon remote. The aircon was blaring cold, and I'm shivering here. I had to take an extra blanket out of the cupboard to put over my bed, I just wasn't myself, sharing a room with your role model and your idol. And I didn't choose him, he chose me.
Nkululeko on Cultr.
Yeah, Nkululeko and Cultr, hello and welcome to yet another episode. Thank you very much for subscribing, commenting, and always liking the content as well as we approach 80,000 subscribers. My next guest is someone that I used to play on PlayStation Pro Evolution Soccer and FIFA games. He's next to me apparently. So yeah, Bernard Parker, highest ever goal scorer in the history of Kaizer Chiefs in the PSL era. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me, Nkululeko.
I used to critique you a lot.
Yeah.
Are you angry at me? I always have to make sure that I'm not speaking with someone who's angry at me.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Do you watch those videos?
No, your videos come up mostly on Twitter. Those snippets, and then
like those guys are talking cack.
And I don't listen, and I don't listen. Only when we win, and then I listen.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming through, man.
Thanks for having me.
The one thing about your book, it's coming up in September. We'll give people the details about that. What jumped up out for me was that I didn't know that you lived in a shack. Because it's like I spent the first maybe 12 years of my life living in shacks in Cape Town, and I was like, damn, like I already automatically identify with that part of your story as well. Just tell me about where you grew up and how was your situation when you were younger? Were you with your mother and your father? How was family life at the time?
Yeah, my book, which is From Shack to Destiny, it's out already on pre-orders. Building up towards the launch which will be on the 7th of September in Boksburg in Birchwood, where I grew up, And I grew up in Boksburg, a township called Reiger Park. And in Reiger Park, we stayed in a back room of my father's sister's house. So, Ekasi is the house, and then you just put up your room at the back. So we stayed at the back, my father, my brother, my mom and I. And then later when my father left us, his sister felt that we're no longer welcomed there. So we had nowhere to go.
Damn.
We had nowhere to go. Luckily, my mom's friend that she worked with that time at the fish and chips shop, she gave us a place which is just next to Reiger Park. And we stayed at Ramaphosa Informal Settlement. So it was a small one-room shack.
There was already a Ramaphosa at the time.
Already at that time,
There's one in Cape Town. I think it was established after 2012.
Oh, okay. So shucks.
There's multiple Ramaphosa informal settlements.
Too many, yes.
So it's like a bunch of shacks in that place, or is it brick houses in Ramaphosa?
Then it was a bunch of shacks.
Yeah, and water you get from one place. No one has water in their house.
Yeah, correct. Damn. So it was just informal settlement at that time. No water, no RDPs, no roads, and also no electricity. So that was just when the informal settlement now started to expand.
Yeah,
and then later on, thing came the rollout of RDP houses and all of that, and the water and stuff like that. So so that's where we stayed.
What was the racial composition of the place, Ramaphosa? Like, was it Afrikaans exclusively, coloreds, or was it a mix of Sesotho here and there, Zulu here and there, if you remember?
Clearly remember. It was a mix of everything. Mostly was a mix of South African black languages, and then we also had a section of a foreign section as well.
Yeah,
Zimbabweans, our Zimbabweans,
Malawians, and stuff.
Exactly, our immediate neighbors, and it was a small community of colored people. That's most of the colored people that are not from Johannesburg. And yeah, that's what it was about. And we stayed there for a couple of years, and I still had to go to school in Rega Park, my primary school. So then sometimes when I get back from school, I would go past my friends, because I've made friends in Rega Park where I stayed, and I go past my friends, and I was this jolly boy and this energetic boy and this trustworthy boy, with regards to the friend I am to my friends.
Sure.
And families will accept me in their home. They'll feed me. They'll also make sure that I'm okay. Also, sometimes when it's too late for me to go home to Ramaphosa, they'll make me sleep over. And that's what we went through. And sometimes it was so tough. Before my mom got a job, she got a job at in Ilensfontein, where they did electrical appliances. Your stoves, your fridges and stuff.
Yeah.
So before she got that job, it was so difficult. Whereas we would eat. Sometimes we will eat at night. Sometimes we won't eat at night. She would try her best to put food on the table for us. And I can remember one night where we had to improvise, my brother and I, and it was difficult. Just talking about it, I get emotional, but it will all be in the book. And from there on, a teacher by the name of Mr. Denzel Bezaidenhout, he saw the talent in me. And the soccer talent in me, because I played every sport at primary school. I played from cricket to rugby to swimming to athletics, and later on, I even tried boxing at some stage, and I got knocked out.
That's one of my favorite sports. Boxing. Were you better at cricket than in football, or rugby than in football? Because sometimes that happens. Like you know that you were better at cricket, but you obviously, because you became an international, you broke records at the biggest football club in this country. It means you were really, really good at football. But do you think you would have had an international career in cricket or rugby?
I think I would have had an international career with athletics.
Oh shit! Like 400 meters, 200 meters, or 800?
Long distance. This was my thing. Long distance was my thing. I was a specialist in your 1,200 meters. I was that time it was the Eastern Gauteng. I was the Eastern Gauteng champ.
Damn.
And then, unfortunately, I didn't make it to the nationals with regards to athletics. But athletics was my thing. Hence, I still got that endurance capacity all these years.
It translated into your football career.
Into my football, yes. Yeah. And then also later on, swimming as well. I got my provincial colors for swimming.
Oh, goodness, you're a black person who swims.
As I said, I was this determined boy.
You make me feel bad about myself. Because I have a pool, but I can't swim.
That's the thing we have about black people.
A stereotype.
Stereotype.
What did Mr. Bezaidenhout do for you?
Mr. Bezaidenhout, I was like his pride and joy, because he was the only teacher who could, who dedicated himself to all the sports. First term, we know it's athletics. Second term, it's this. Third term is that. Fourth term is that. You will be right through the whole year. Sometimes at schools, teachers, they swap with their speciality.
Someone else will take over.
Exactly. Yeah. If it's hockey, then it will be a hockey teacher. Sure. If it's that, then it will be a
well, at least you had that, actually, because I realized, with my daughter, it's similar. It's that curricular, first term, second term, it's a football season. Second term, third term, it's something else different, and there's different teachers. And I think damn, I went to township schools where you only had one teacher. If they are interested in sport, then they will teach you everything. Exactly. Whether it's javelin or long jump, there's only one teacher who does everything.
Yes, exactly.
So your school had a variety of teachers with different things.
Yeah. So then. And then when he saw the soccer talent in me, I became best friends with his son. and his son played club football. So then he decided he's gonna also enroll me in club football, which that time was Boksburg FC. And I excelled at Boksburg FC, and then I also became part of the Eastern Gauteng team, and then later on, when we go for this nationals, the nationals of all the provinces.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and I go play there, and then he saw like the talent in me, and
Was it a school within the school framework, the nationals? Because I know now it's the Motsepe schools, whatever, and it's like all the best schools from each province. And then at club level, it's the ABC Motsepe League playoffs, where all the 9 provinces go to one place. With yours, what was it? Was it SAP level, or was it schools that got you to national competition?
with mine it was the SAB level with the clubs, with club football, and then before he took me to trials for the School of Excellence, we needed to go with the provincial team. We needed to go to Durban, if I can remember, because that was my first flight. We needed to go to Durban. And my mom said to me, between your... I had no school shoes because I would play soccer and I would get the school shoes. First time my school shoes will be finished.
Yeah.
And then second time I'll wear my church shoes and my church shoes will be finished. And then now I have to go to school barefoot. And then she said to me, I said to her, I need soccer boots to go to the tournament. And she said to me, you'll choose, because now I'm saving up to get you school shoes and now you want soccer boots. So I said, okay, Mom, I'd rather accept the soccer boots, and then I'll ask Mr. Bezeno to buy me school shoes. I'll accept the school shoes, then I'll ask Mr. Bezeno to buy me the soccer boots. And she said, my son, continue going to school barefoot. I'm going to get you the soccer boots. So she saw that I was going to become a star before I could see it. That was so special to me. Hence, I cherished all these years. And then later on, Mr. Bezeno took me for trials at the School of Excellence, and I made it. I made it within the first 15 minutes or so. I was chosen and I made it.
Do you remember the pool of players that were there when you got to the School of Excellence?
Yeah, definitely.
The ones who made it eventually, who became stars.
Yes. As I got there, the likes of Steven Pienaar, Sean Potgieter, Ninja Mofokeng, Sipho Nunens, they just graduated.
Damn.
They just graduated. And I started my high school there at the school, and I was with the likes of Richard Ranti.
Yeah, I remember him.
Dane
He was a very
Glade.
good winger.
Very, very
Also,
good winner.
Supersport got both of those wingers from there.
Supersport got both of the wingers from there.
Yeah, the right wing and the left wing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Your late Jeffrey Ntuka.
Yeah,
if you remember Jeffrey Ntuka.
He eventually played for Chelsea at some point, and he was in Belgium for a long time.
Correct. The story was that we went for a tournament in Ireland. It was the Nike Milk Cup tournament.
In the country Ireland. The Republic of Ireland.
The Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
So the school was participating in that tournament yearly. So then we went to the tournament, and unfortunately I didn't make it because the school could only take a certain number.
Yeah.
And they chose the best of the best, And then in that tournament, Jose Mourinho, the Chelsea manager at that time, saw 3 of our players. He picked Jeffrey Ntuka, Masilu Modubi,
I remember him.
and Bobe Mosia.
I remember Masilo Modu was left-footed midfielder.
He's right with the midfielder.
He was a central midfielder, slightly taller.
Tall, yes. Yeah. And then Bobe Mosia was a right wing. He also later on played for the under-17s and then later for Makluk. So, us seeing players prospering and players going to professional clubs, that was motivation on its own at the school.
You can see the pathway. Like, if I do well here, I can play anywhere in the world.
Exactly. So, as much as it was tough at the school because, screws were tightened there, it was discipline all the way. And, with all those ethics and all those fundamentals and principles that they put into us, I would say that, that was the best decision I ever made to go to that school.
Yeah, of course, assisted by Mr. Bezeno, identifying trials for you as well. School of Excellence is a very It's a discussion that comes and goes in South African football. People mention the importance of it and why South Africa still needs that. Maybe specific question towards them is, what is it about them on a day-to-day basis in the development of the human being that help them get the best out of players?
Yeah, that is the key. That is what most of us miss. You know, trying to get the best out of the human being. It's the first thing that we.
And what would they do? So the school, just give us an idea of what you would do on a weekly basis that make you become better.
We would follow a strict routine, a strict daily routine. You know, we wake up at 5. By 6:30, you have to be done showered by 6:30
Wow,
because
in the
by
morning.
6:30 the water will be closed.
Yeah.
They'll close the water. 7:45, 8:45, then we go eat. Eating time starts from 6 to 7:15. So we have that hour and 15 minutes to eat. So you can go to the dining room at any time between those times, and then school starts 7:45. So then, if you have to be in class before 7:45. If you're not in class before 7:45, there will be certain punishments that will be applied, and you know, it was the good thing about us in the class also. You know, we about 100 students that time in a class, and then it will only be one grade, and in then one grade we about 12, 13 boys. You know, so.
And they had to get external people to teach you, because obviously maybe their skill set is coaching football, so they would have to integrate it with the school, like someone who's a qualified teacher.
Someone who's a qualified teacher, but they will be permanent. They're
permanently working there.
They're permanently working there, and also in school, there's no hiding, because as I'm saying, we're a small group, so you can't hide. You can't like in today's public school, you sit at the back and you can sleep and hide. There was no hiding.
Yeah.
You know, and then from school, we would have that hour. You know, school comes out at 1:30. So then we'll have that hour. 2:30, you must be on the field. So within that hour, you go to your room, you change your uniform, you put your training kit on, you get your ball. Your ball stays with you in the room. So you have your own ball with your name on. When your ball gets finished or of some sort, or something happens to your ball, you get a new ball. So the ball you live with.
You always have the ball.
You always have the ball. You clean your ball. You look after your ball.
That's a great psychological trick.
You know.
That's a great psychological trick.
I'm telling you.
Damn.
Even in training, you must make sure you're always with your ball. When we do shooting, you kick your ball over the fence. You can't take somebody else's ball. You must go fetch your ball.
Go fetch your own ball.
You see. So we did that, and then training starts on the dot at 2:45.
Yeah.
And then we'll have practice from 2:45 for 2 hours, maybe from 2:45 until 4:45. And then from there on, we go back to our rooms, we shower and get ready for dinner. And then dinner would be from 6:00. And then we have our dinner, and then after dinner, TV time is until 8:30. 8:30, we must all be back into our rooms. And no one in the passages, no one in the corridors. We don't want everyone in their room. And then that's the time you would study or do your homework or anything else at that time. And then 10:00 lights off.
Yeah, it's almost
Lights
like a
out.
military setup where everyone has to be disciplined and follow a strict routine.
Correct,
And it
yeah.
now makes sense why we got a lot of young people who became professionals from there, because they were trained and drilled properly. You know, when we're doing these badges at SAFA level, D license, C license, one of the things that they say in those manuals is that you will never really develop a player to be a good professional if when you do training for 2 hours, he only touches the ball twice or 3 times. So even when you mentioned the story about the ball, I'm like thinking about those manuals. They told us like every single player must touch the ball multiple times from the time that they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They get used to doing different things with the ball.
Yes, definitely. And with the ball, also the story about how I got my right foot stronger than my left foot. Because
I also don't know
I'm
what's your
telling you.
foot as well. Like that's the thing about you, that you could take a free kick with your right and your left foot.
Correct.
Damn.
Yes.
What's your strong foot?
Growing up, my strong foot was left. I'm a left footer. Left winger, left
And
footer.
you took penalties professionally with both.
With my right foot mostly.
Ah.
The story about that ball is at school. With that ball in my room, I would practice with my right foot. I would hit it against the wall. Pa 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 against the wall with my right foot. I will juggle in the room with my right foot, and then when also like in training, I'll start warm up with my right foot and all that. And I trained my right foot so much that it became more accurate. My right weak foot became more accurate and stronger than my left foot.
Yeah.
And as you see in my career, I've scored free kicks.
Yeah.
Beautiful free kicks with my supposedly left foot,
Your weaker foot,
which is my accurate foot, and free kicks and penalties. So that is the trick about the ball, that you have to you have to
be intimate with the ball, get used to it.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct,
and that's what happens with cricketers. Like, if you want to be a very good batsman, you have to hit the ball randomly 10,000 times, and you will become a very good professional.
Correct.
But if you come from a place that doesn't have resources, I mean, I remember kicking a ball in my township in Cape Town, in Nyanga. It's like there's like maybe 20 of us chasing one ball. There's no way we're going to be used to the ball, intimate with the ball, knowing how to kick it next to the valve so that it dips or whatever. We won't know any of that because there's only 20 of us. Now, Bernard Parker's story is mentioned extensively in his book. It's coming up in September. It's available in pre-order. You can follow him on his Facebook like I do. I follow him on Facebook. He'll give you details about where he's going next. You'll see him on television, on radio, and then you'll see the details of the launch as well. We won't delve into all of the stories, but it's very important when we speak to people that we understand where they come from so that we understand who they are currently. First time I saw you was on Benoni Premier United.
Yeah.
It was you, Tsepo Masilela, maybe Silom Hlambi, July Mahlangu.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think that the guys that used to stand out for me when I was watching that team.
Yeah.
Onogwaja. And the stadium will be packed
Correct.
at that time. I don't know whether you guys were playing promotion. The first time we saw you on TV, I don't know, it was either had to do with relegation and promotion.
Correct.
And then maybe you won promotion and then we started seeing you regularly as well. How did you get to that club?
100%. Yeah. That time at the schools, Coach Mbata was our head of football at school, and then Coach Mbata later on joined Mamelodi Sundowns, and then he had a short stint at Sundowns, and then later on he became the head coach at Benoni Premier United. So I was still doing matric at that time, and then Mr. Mbata would come to the school together with Mr. Nkewu, who at that time was the chairman of Benoni Premier United. May his soul rest in peace. And they said to me, "No, we want you to come to Benoni, and we think that you're gonna immediately start playing because of now where you come from and the quality you got." So I said yes, and then just after my matric, I got interest from Sundowns, and Coach Cabo Zondo. Who is my neighbor, he just stays down the road from Boksburg.
Where was he attached to at the time? I remember at some point he was at Golden Arrows around the time.
He was in the development.
Okay.
He was I don't know what was his role in development. Coach Cabo Zondo was part of Sundowns, and that time he said to me, "Come to the reserve team, come and play." Mr. Motsipo just bought the club, and he brought Peter Ndlovus, he brought Benedict Vilagazi, he brought Gift Leremi. That Sundowns team was just
Galaxy
Galaxy
of Stars. There was no way you could play there.
There was no way I could play there,
They can't pay someone 200,000 and bench them for a young kid.
And that time I just wanted money. I just wanted to look after my mom, because of the suffering and all of it my mom was going through. I just wanted some incentive just to make sure that my mom is okay at home, So things didn't work out there at Sundowns because I couldn't stay long because I was so impatient.
So what happened actually? Like you literally joined the reserve team initially?
I joined the reserve team and with the hope that I would get promoted.
Yeah.
And I felt at that time I was the star player at the reserve team at that time. I felt like I deserved to be called up for for the first
For
team.
the first team. What was your position originally around this period?
It was left wing.
Left wing.
I
Okay.
was left wing, yes. So I was this left winger, and then someone said, "No, you must stay. You know, we want you here, for the next 5 years." I said, "Okay, let's have something on paper. I just want something, some incentive or whatever, just to look after my mom. I'm already on Coach Kabo's back, transporting me up and down. Sometimes if he can't, I have to take a train, to Germiston, from Germiston to Kempton Park, from Kempton Park to Cultr. And it was difficult because I just needed a little bit of incentive to look after my mom, and I felt that I deserve it, So then things didn't work out, and I signed for Benoni Premier United.
What was the? I'm trying to understand. What are the contractual situations at that time for reserve players? Because I would imagine now that if a player, Nkosingipile Ngcobo, for example, is playing for Chiefs reserve side, I don't think that it's going to be easy for him to just jump ship and go to another club. What were the contractual situations looking like for reserve players at the time? So you would play for the reserves, but not necessarily attached on a long-term contract with them?
Yeah, there was no contract.
Okay, you were just playing for the reserve.
I was just playing for reserve. There was no contract, but they let me sign some piece of paper that stated that I will get 5,000 rand and for 5 years. It was just 5,000 rand 5 years.
So that's some sort of contract.
Some piece of paper.
If they believe so, there's a possibility in an alternative universe that if they believe that you were going to be the star, you thought you were going to be, they could have taken your commitment on that paper and fought to you leaving that club.
That could have happened,
Yeah.
But I think that piece of paper wasn't like some sort of your standard normal PSL contract or so, And then I just left, and then.
And Simbata at this time, you're saying he's at Benoni Premier United.
He's Benoni Premier United.
Yeah. And what did you say? Do you make the phone call or you go for trials? What happens?
No, I just made the phone call, and they came and picked me up at home. I was still relaxed at home. I was sweeping the yard, and then I just saw this microbus coming around the corner, and it was the chairman himself, and he said, "Get your stuff and come." And then asked my mom's there, so my mom's not here, at work. And then I went for training, and the next day I brought my mom with, and then we signed, and then I started playing.
So this is your first professional contract,
My
so to
first
speak.
professional contract.
Damn,
Yes.
and there's no agent involved.
No agent involved.
You have
in that
no
time.
reference point whether or not you're walking into some weird situation here, like 3 years only on 2,000 rands. Like you don't know whether you're being exploited.
I didn't know. All I wanted was that check at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Because I felt that I'm tired of the suffering. I was even embarrassed of the suffering. Hence,
Yeah.
sometimes I wouldn't come home, and I will stay wherever I needed to stay. And as I said, I developed so many friends and families. So I stayed at other friends and families' houses because I was so embarrassed, and maybe because of that, I wanted to make a difference in my mom's life. You know. And then and I signed for Benoni Premier United, and in my first year, we did good. We got promoted. We got promoted to the PSL, and then when we got that PSL, when I got that PSL contract, I said to my mom, "Mom, here's everything.
Yeah.
I don't want."
What does it look like?
Yeah.
You can give us information because there's no consequence. That was over 20 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Or if it's in the book, you can tell us if it's in the book.
Around 17 years ago or so. Yeah, it is in the book. So then I just said to my mom, Mom, this is what's the increase I'm getting, and we should try and apply for a better place to stay. And somebody from the bank that stays in the area where I come from, she said to me, "No, she can help me." And then she helped me, and then we qualified for a bond, and then I bought my mom a house. I think I was 20 at that time. Yeah, I think I was 20 at that time. I can't remember. And then I bought my mom a house, And that was the most satisfying thing ever. And at the same time, I told her, Mom, leave work. I don't want you to work. I've seen you suffering. You go to work. You leave home early in the morning when it's dark, and you come back late at night when it's dark. So I don't want to see this anymore. I'd like you to leave work, and I will look after you. She was so touched, whereas she returned the favor, and the favor's in the book.
Yeah. Thank you. You need to give people a reason to read your book. So
Yeah, sure.
It must have been one of the most satisfying feelings in the world, as you mentioned, like to be able to take your mother out of that situation. I wanna follow the chronology of Benoni Premier United, which is the first time I saw you, and then not long afterwards, you part of the under-23.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. I just remember seeing you and Tsepo part of the under-23 around the period as well. How was Benoni Premier United, even at a level of payment? I know someone told me a story about the owner and the fact that, sometimes when you have a club that's run by a normal person, when his businesses are going down, then there are ups and downs reflecting in the team as well. How was that team run? How was the team spirit within the team? Because they played beautiful football.
Yeah, we were like a family, just because of Mr. Ndlovu knew how to identify talent. At the same time, he's a people's person. Meaning by a people's person, he understands people's struggles and challenges. Most of us that came up under him, he would be so selfless, where it was even help. He would even go the extra mile to help you. So sometimes if the salary doesn't come, we would understand. We would try and help each other internally with the team. And when the salary do come, we know it will come with what he still owes us. So it will come with what he still owes us. And at the same time, he would also help us. If you feel like you're giving so much to the team, he would give you a car. He would
just like that.
Just like that.
Did you get a car?
No, that time I had a car. He bought me rims. He bought me 17-inch rims. He said, "Makala, that time. Makala, batandu pimpi moto." So here's rims for you. And also it's some other stuff as well. Players that will stay in Joburg, you would still tell them, you say, now you're traveling from far, I pay your townhouse here in Benoni for you. So that time he liked Bedfordview. He stayed in Bedfordview. So he would mostly host us there in Bedfordview and say, okay guys, some of you like Silam Klambi, Thabo Mabaso, the guys.
Oh yeah, Thabo
Mabaso. The guys from Soweto. Soweto is farmer and Nimoshi petrol, man, stay here, and it made us stay for free, and he was just that selfless person. And also at the same time, he would give us petrol. He'll give us daily allowance. Today's language will say daily allowance. He'll give petrol to those who needs petrol according to the distance, and he'll give taxi fare to those who needs taxi fare according to the distance.
Yeah.
So you will get your daily allowance, and you would get your salary. Sometimes half, sometimes full, but within the full year, it will be full.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so Sam Bata was a coach at the time.
Yes.
And then did he last the whole season or not? I hear from Junior that he was a really good development coach. I don't come from here, so I wouldn't know. I didn't follow development here. I followed development in Cape Town. So was he a really good coach when he was coaching?
Really good coach. He would bring the best out of us. The likes at that time we were just an ordinary Umvela team.
Yeah.
And he would bring the best out of us. And he was the key figure in terms of guys reaching their full potential. July Matlango just shot up like that.
Yeah, I remember.
He just shot up like that. Tsepo Masilela just shot up like that. Tsepo Masilela.
That was international quality player.
Quality. He was the only Mvela player in the Bafana team. The only player from Mvela, the Bafana team. And then later Teko Modise.
And I think later Shaba was also playing for Free State Stars.
Correct. So he would bring the best out of us. And he was assisted by former Sundowns goalkeeper Sonas Malope. So it was the two of them, and of course that time the boss at the final say, so
Was he picking the team?
it's a South African culture, but the good thing about
It's
it
like
is,
you're a trainer as a coach.
Yeah.
You train players and then someone picks it for you.
yeah, but
Do you think it's in PSL era currently, like that's also, I think it does happen, but you never know to what extent. Like, is it all of the teams or 60% of the clubs? Do you think current PSL that still is prevalent? Because you see them in the VIP section, and in your mind as a fan, you think this is separate. They are there, and people that are down there on the field when the match is unfolding are the ones that are responsible for what's happening on the pitch. So, do you think that's still like problematic, like, or it happens to a few clubs in your estimation?
in my estimation, I don't know, because now as football has evolved so much over the years, we get coaches that they do stem the authority. They stem the authority. We only find such stories if somebody internally speaks. I haven't experienced that after Benoni Premier United, and today we just
Not even a Thunder.
not even a thunder. So today you hear stories and stuff, but I'm sure those are internal. Those are internal information that comes out. But according to my knowledge and my observation, when I also play against opponents, I don't see that. Maybe I'm too focused on the job at hand.
We saw Preston at Orlando Pirates doing this, and then they suddenly changed to a back four and so on. But anyways, that happened in public. That's not from you. You're not telling us that. We saw it for ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to skip along your story.
Okay.
One particular thing that I really wanted to understand was the build up to the 2010 World Cup. I have Teko Modisa's book here. The person who wrote it was a good friend of mine. I worked with them at Sokolatoma, Niklaus Kirkenes, who wrote it with Teko Modisa's autobiography and Junior Kanye's autobiography. He spoke at length about Bafana in the build up to the World Cup. Jewel Natalino Santana, Carlos Alberto Pereira coming back as well. And he also spoke about the actual experience of the World Cup and what went wrong. You were part of the squad.
Yeah.
In the build-up, I think you came as a substitute for the Mexico game, right? I was just looking at the team sheets again.
Correct.
I can't remember it now. It's 13 years ago, but I was looking at the team sheets and I was like, okay, you were crucial part of that squad. In the build-up to that, I remember I was at university and I remember that an announcement was made that by Carlos Alberto Pereira, that Benni McCarthy, Rowan Fernandez were kicked out of the squad. I think that maybe there was a third member as well, was kicked out as well. Just talk to us about 2010. We are the first nation that is knocked out of the group stages of the World Cup. Qatar has since joined us. We would like to think we're better than Qatar, but we are in the same. We are the milli of the same bag, basically. In that unfortunate history.
Yeah.
What was the build up to the 2010 World Cup? Were the Banyana are fighting Safa now about monies? Were there any last minute discussions about money for the World Cup and all of that? What do you remember about that event?
Oh yeah. It's also the build up to the World Cup is also in my book, and luckily that the author of the book, Mr. Charlie Peterson,
He'll join us later.
was part of the World Cup at that time.
He was
delegated.
So is the reason why we didn't qualify. It's part of the reason why.
He was delegating the Free State, Freistata at that time, and building up to the World Cup, it's the FIFA Confederations Cup, and
Katle Kompela launched his career there.
Yeah.
What he did against Spain with those free kicks,
those rockets.
We already knew what he was, but if there was a tournament that launches someone's career, what it did at that Confederations Cup was insane.
It was insane with those rockets, and I felt like he needed to move. If immediately from there he needed to move overseas. If he would have moved overseas at that time, we would have been speaking a different story about his career. But then I was his second striker. I was behind him.
Yeah,
the
he's number 10,
number
so to
10.
speak.
Yeah, I was the number 10, playing behind Mpela. Then I had Shaba and Teko on the right or on my left, and sometimes Steven Pienaar.
Yeah.
And building up towards that, unfortunately, I didn't join the camp. The camp where the team went to. No, that was after the Confederations Cup. So the
So in the build up
Confederations
to the
Cup,
2010 World Cup, I think there must have been a 3-month period where you guys had to train, or 2
we
months.
were to train.
You had
Yes,
to train somewhere or something.
yes. So let me. I just forwarded now. It was after the Confederations Cup. So the Confederations Cup, I banged goals together with Katlego Mpela, and that's where I got the recognition from FC20.
FC20, yeah.
Yes, and now that's when now the light started to shine on us because of the massive impact we did. We surprised the world with that Confederations Cup.
I got to the semi-final, lost to Brazil in the Confederations Cup, and then in the third and fourth place we lost to Spain. But we really had a good fight there because we took that game to extra time.
To extra time, yes, in Rustenburg, and that's where now we put the marker down and we're saying that no, we will be a tough team to beat. And that's where a lot of players got recognition as well from that squad. And then later on, we did a world tour. We did a world tour because now we can't play qualifiers.
Yeah, you can't qualify, yeah.
So we automatically qualify because we are the host nation. So we would visit countries, like Germany, Portugal, Switzerland. We played friendlies around the globe. And then 6 months before the World Cup, there was this camp that the guys went on. Most of the local guys and a few international guys who could
I remember that it was the
camp.
issue was that, look, you guys are getting paid at your international clubs. There's no way that they're going to allow you to leave for 3 months or for a month or so.
Correct.
So Safa had to come up because I think even then the league had to be cut short by like, if it finishes generally in May, then it has to finish maybe by Feb or something like that. It had to finish quicker than that.
Yes. So in that camp, a whole lot of stories was in that camp, positive stories, because that camp brought the guys together. And that camp brought a whole lot of fighting spirit because it was a preliminary squad going forward. So a lot of stories from that camp in terms of the experience that they experienced in Brazil and how they have seen now football from a different point of view, through a different microscope. So what Coach Carlos Santana, together with Coach Pitso Musimane and Jairo, the second assistant, and our wonderful physical trainer, if I forget his name, he was one of the best.
He's not Brazilian.
He was Brazilian as well.
Him,
yes, Chico. His name is Chico. Because Santana brought the best of. I'm saying Santana. Mr. Pereira brought the best of the best that he's worked with when he won the World Cup with Brazil.
Yeah,
and it was fire. And when the league closed early, and then now all the internationals now joined. The likes of Benni, McCarthy, myself, Steven Pienaar, Aaron Mokoena, Mcbetsy Baya, Kagiso Dikhatshwe. It was just a star-studded team, and the competition was strong. It was tough. And we were trimmed down to, I think, about 40 players. So
originally it was a bigger number than 40.
It was a bigger number than 40.
I never understand preliminary squads, even to this day. Why do you call me if you're not going to call me with the final 23? I still don't understand the logic. I understand that there are injuries. Why don't you say this is the 23 and then this is the waiting list? Like the 11 is the waiting list and then I have my 23. Because you get people's hopes up. Even now, there's Kosafa playing now as we're speaking. Initially, it had like maybe 30 or 40 players. just make a phone call to people, ask them if your concern is that are they going to be available or not.
Or not, yes.
Call them. Are you available? Yes. And then you're like, this is my 23. Because I don't know, like the anxiety with players, I'm sure when they see, I know when I'm the fourth best left back in the country, I know that I'm probably the fourth or fifth.
For sure. Yeah.
So if I see myself on that squad, I might raise my hopes up falsely, thinking that maybe if I pray hard enough, I'll be part of that squad. But I know like I'm the fourth or the fifth best. But I'm sorry, I don't like preliminary squads.
Yeah, that's the thing about preliminary squads, and I think still today we still do this preliminary squad.
It doesn't
thing.
make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Tell us who you want to be part of that. So you guys, do you feel like you guys were disadvantaged by not being in that camp? Or you felt like, you know what, anyways, these guys are going to need overseas best players. They might need 11 of them mixed with the local, but at least I'm going to be part of that overseas best players that are going to be called.
No, we felt, I felt personally, I felt like, hey, I want to be in the World Cup. I might miss my spot.
Yeah.
We don't know what the guys are doing there, what they're going through, what's their plans. Somebody in my position might surprise them, and the next thing you'll get the notch before me. You do get those talks in your ear sometimes when you lay in bed and you think about them. So as we came back, from the huge squad, it was trimmed down to 40.
Dang.
And I think, was it 40 or 30? Because I think you can only register 23.
Yes, you can only register 23. You
can only register 23.
Which is still a lot of players.
Yeah, which is still a lot of players. So I don't remember, but it was trimmed down, and then we still had a preliminary squad at that time. And we worked our socks off. We were fit. We were strong. We were just fire. And when the announcement was made, we were all scared. No one felt safe, unless for Kune, because Kune was just flying high, but no one felt safe. And when the announcement was made,
you guys don't know, like, you guys are going through the stress.
Hey,
us as fans, I remember I was at university. We were listening to that shit, and we're like, every time they mention a name, we're celebrating. And then I think the one name that everyone was crying about was Charlie, but I think he was very young. He's my age. He was 20 at the time. When he wasn't mentioned, people were a little bit disappointed. I think there was some sort of injury with him. And then there was the Benni issue and the Rowan Fernandez issue. And I think someone else as well was not picked. What were you going through as it was announced?
The biggest surprise was Benni McCarthy. Reason why, because I shared a room with him. I shared a room with him in camp.
Maybe there's a story to be told there.
The story is that, I don't know what to do in the room. I don't know if I must touch the TV remote or the aircon remote. The aircon was blaring cold, and I'm shivering here. I had to take an extra blanket out of the cupboard to put over my bed, I just wasn't myself, sharing a room with your role model and your idol. And I didn't choose him. He chose me, I was like, and now he's talking on that time was talking on Skype with his family, and he's telling me all these things about family and football and things to do. So I took all that advice. Hence it helped me in my career. And just that one night when we had 2 days off. We had 2 days off because we were away from our families for so long. We had 2 days off, and I went home. We all went home. Even the guys who were out of the province, they went home as well.
They flew to their home province.
They flew to their home province as well. And we got back, and then as we got back, on the day we got back, the team was announced. And the most surprised the country was Benni. And then later on, stories came out, and I would not say that those stories were true, because what I saw and what I experienced.
Well, it was your roommate.
It was my roommate, So I was gone. I was gone at home, and when I came home, I don't know what happened.
So there was no opportunity for the things they alleged to have happened to happen. if everyone was supposed to be going home, given a free time, even if maybe they were drinking or whatever, they were enjoying themselves, it was under your own time that you're enjoying yourself. There was no curfew broken.
Correct.
There's no possibility of it being broken because you have the 2 days to yourself.
Correct. Yeah.
Maybe there wasn't a fitness issue then, because I remember that at the time, Benni, his weight had become an issue. People were starting to talk about that. Maybe Pereira felt that he needed an excuse that he can give to the nation other than the fitness. Because if he says fitness, people will say, well, he's scoring goals.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been it. Maybe the person to answer that question is Pereira himself.
Pereira
If you're
himself,
saying
yeah,
that
probably.
there was the allegations about them doing things didn't happen, like, because you were his roommates, nothing happened in your vicinity. You didn't see anything that could make you guys, because possibly you could be one of the people sent home then, because you're his roommate.
Correct,
Whatever
yes.
he's doing, you probably were going to engage in as well.
For sure. Yes, correct. And that decision for him not being included surprised the whole nation. And we know he can give you a goal anytime. Anytime, any day, he can give you a goal. You can wake him up 2 a.m., he'll give you a goal.
Yeah.
So I think he would have added a great value to the country within the World Cup. You never know, you know. And then a year later, he came home for Pirates, and he still banged goals left and right with that weight, you know. So. So it's
like the fastest way to become a club legend. I mean, he played for Pirates for such a short period of time, but you could argue that he's like a club legend there because he goes in and they won a treble. He scores
back
goals.
to back. He won the treble back to back. You know. So you know, it with the World Cup, you know, it was just an unbelievable experience. You know, something that you can't describe. You know, I felt like. You know, like it was just crazy. Everybody just wanted a piece of you.
Yeah, it probably has like built-in nervous things, like the way that it was so hyped and it was so big for us. It was a big deal because we lost the 2006 one to Germany. We were going to host that, but something happened with the FIFA executive. I was watching documentaries about that, and I remember when I was younger that people were convinced that we were going to host the 2006. It just took one vote with someone who said they were going to vote for us. A brown envelope slipped in their hotel room. They changed their mind. And then Sepp Blatter said it's like a split decision. There's like number of people voting for South Africa, number of people voting for Deutschland, Germany. And then if it was going to have to come to him, he was going to give the vote to Africa.
To Africa, yeah.
So the numbers were, the way that people were expressing themselves, it was like 14-14. And we just need the president who says he will vote for us. And then we didn't get it. So we always knew we were going to get it. So the 2010 one was Africa's opportunity. So it was Morocco, it was ourselves, maybe Egypt was part of that as well. I can't remember who else, but it was Africa's opportunity. So when it happened, we knew that it was our time to host the World Cup, you know. But I think, if you think about it, like as you described now, like you guys were hot property, everyone wanted to do an interview with you. You could not go to a mall, make that mistake at that time. You couldn't. Otherwise, people could kill you with their joy of seeing you and stuff like that. But isn't that, as a sports person, given that you have to have like an elite mindset and literally minimize everything, like you say, there are videos on Twitter that you don't read or listen to because you already know we lost, so it's going to be some bullshit. Do you not think that the World Cup comes, especially a home World Cup, comes with its own nervousness? That's why even Brazil loses 7-0, 7-1 to Germany for their own World Cup, because it's such a heightened expectation. It's like you are gods for that 30 days. Everyone is like, yo, win us the World Cup. Do you not think that you guys had like this sense of nervousness, even in that opening game against Mexico, and then that show against Uruguay? Damn, that was such heartbreaking. Kune getting a red card. Was it Kune or Munib Joseph who got a red card against Uruguay? The second game, the goalkeeper got a red card in the second game against Uruguay at the World Cup. I think it's Kune. And then Munib Joseph had to finish that game. And then against France, we had to beat them 4-1 if we wanted to go through. But what I'm saying ultimately is like the level of nerves and the negative effect of having too many people wanting and expecting from you. How did that affect you guys?
It's a lot. A lot goes into it. It's a lot of emotions. You know, it's the nervousness. It's the some sort of level of fear also creeps in because you don't want to disappoint, and then you get you also get the pressure of winning, because we have to win because we are the host nation. And then For every player, a nervous is normal, because every player gets nervous before a game. So it's just that amount of weight that's on your shoulders. And then when you put it to thought, when you put it in your mind, you know, you don't because of so much expectation and so much that the country wants us to think. So then your body of some sort, your body tenses up.
Yeah.
And that's just normal, the human body. If ear is not clear, the body tenses. But if ear is clear, ear is free. So I think maybe we also put too much on ourselves in the second game, because our first game it was a great opening match, and if we would have won that match, I think we would have gone to the second round.
Yeah.
But also heartbreak that Mexico scored, and
They scored twice. There was one goal that was ruled out as offside.
Yeah.
No, this is not offside. They scored twice. They could have won 2-1 against us.
So going into the Uruguay game, it was win at all cost.
Yeah.
It was win at all cost.
How was the coach communicating then? How do you even deal with that?
How to even deal with that? It's not easy to deal with 11 players. To get them in the same a mental level. It's not easy for a coach. Maybe you would get half of the team, maybe you'll get 80% of the team on those levels, but there will be the 2 or 3, where a little bit of a sense of anxiety and nervousness and all of that kicks in, blah 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 blah. But then I think we put too much pressure on ourselves as a team, knowing that we have to win this by all cost, and we didn't. And then going to Bloemfontein, where we played against France now.
Apparently, you guys consulted your Sangoma. A man by the name of Sibonelo Madela. The players didn't know this, but Safa, he invoiced them 100,000.
Okay.
And they only paid him 10.
Oh.
And you guys
that's why we didn't go through.
That's what he says. Because you guys... I remember Chief Mwelo Nkonyane was one of the SAFA vice presidents. He sort of corroborated it, but he was trying to distance himself. But the man, Sibonelo Matelas, did say he got 10,000 off the 100,000. Oh. And he said after that moment, he's like, yo, if you guys don't pay me this money, Bafana will continue to lose. And I think maybe a year or 2 or 3 later, they eventually had to settle the 90,000.
All right.
You see, there's a world where you guys live in, where you are being trained. You have to understand tactics. You have to understand performance and have the mindset to do it, be fit enough to do it. And then there's a world which is different, that has nothing to do with performance, where people go and consult people to get a win. It's like these people don't believe that we just need to invest in the part where tactics, good coaches, good players, conditioning, dieting, and all of that shit. They believe in the other side too. Let's go and pay someone. So he takes credit for the 2 goals were scored against France.
Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't know that France didn't train before you guys.
And they had a strike, yes.
They were striking. Nicolas
yes.
Anelka was fighting against, I think, Raymond Domenech, if I'm not mistaken. But whoever was their coach at the time, Nicolas Anelka had a problem with him. And most of the black players, Patrice Evra, were fighting. Because on Netflix, Nicolas Anelka has a Netflix special. He speaks about that specific moment.
Yeah.
So they were not training. That's the reason why they considered a goal, 2 goals.
2 goals, us. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it was also good for the rest of the squad, because now us who didn't get much game time, we get to start. So I started. Bongani Kumalo started. He scored. Who else started? I think it was 4 or 5 players that started.
I don't know whether Lucas Twala would have started or he didn't play in this game.
I don't remember. I think he started.
And then Pagata was your right back. Who was the right back? I can't remember anymore.
With Pagata as right back, together with Anele Ngqongqa.
Oh yes, Anele would have been, of course.
May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
A good buddy of mine. And so then we we just proved the point.
Did you know that
We
you had
just
to
proved the
win
point.
by 4 or 5 goals?
We knew.
And I
Yes.
remember when you guys scored the second goal, I was like, this is game on.
Yeah.
Like, we could score these 3 other goals that we need.
Yeah, yes, for sure. So yeah, that was great memories, you know, great
Let's talk about
memories.
something
And
around the actual event itself.
Mm-hmm.
Did you walk into that World Cup knowing exactly what you expect to be remunerated? Because Banyana are going to a World Cup now,
Mm-hmm.
and fortunately, as we speak, by the time the people watch this, it's been resolved. The Motsepe Foundation have come in to say they will top up 250,000 for those players
Mm-hmm.
on top of what FIFA are giving them, which is from FIFA and not from SAFA.
Okay.
The players are entitled, but it's been negotiated by FIFPro that because the players are participating in your event,
Yeah.
you're gonna get money from selling the TV rights to this. Each and every player must get 30,000 US dollars
All right.
from this. Right, if they're in the group stages, and then the more they progress, they get more money.
Yes.
What was the contractual discussions? Because before that generation, there would have been the 2006 African Cup of Nations. There was money problems there. I know that for a fact. And Benni spoke out about it. And maybe even Benni not playing at the 2010 World Cup is because some people would be grudging him for standing up for players in 2006. You know, because there's a build up to these things.
Yeah, probably.
In 2004, 2002, 1998, there was an issue.
Yeah.
Whether it's AFCON or the World Cup, there's always been an issue. Would you say that the World Cup, you knew what you were going to get? There was no issue at all. You were happy with what you guys were getting?
Yeah. You know, the senior guys, they handled it, and I think they handled it well. You know, and we got what we asked for. We negotiated, and we got what we asked for, and there was agreements as well when we progress what we're gonna get, but unfortunately we didn't get. But overall, I think we all got with regards to incentive, to the bonus. And if I'm trying to think if there was anything. I don't think there was any.
We couldn't afford any issues because it was a global spectacle.
Probably
Everyone was coming to this country.
Correct. Yeah. So we got what we negotiated.
Yeah. Can you talk? I think Coach Pizza was an assistant in this period.
Yes.
Can you talk about his inputs at any given point during those games and maybe in the build-up? What was his primary role? Because what we understand is that he was probably being groomed to become a coach. Eventually, he became a coach as well. At this point, could you see his progression as a person? Could you see his input? Because he had already. People like to make these silly examples about, even Pizzo struggled the Sundowns. Pizzo Musimani was already coach of the season in 2004 or 6, somewhere there, where he won the SAA Super 8 with Super Sport United. He was not a small child when we got to Bafana or when he got to Sundowns. He already had to prove himself elsewhere before he got to where he got to. How was he in the 2010 World Cup? What was his role in your observation?
Pizzo's role was he was more close to the players. I think he was our voice to the. It was our voice to the coach. He was like some sort of the middleman to the coach in terms of what we feel as players, what we go through as players, and what we think as players as well. And he would be always whispering things in our ears, you know, and said, you know, at this situation you were doing this and that and that. I think you can do it better in that angle.
Yeah.
So, in terms of individual improvement as players within the team, he contributed tremendously. He contributed so tremendously, and also within meetings, you know, sometimes when we feel as players that we didn't get a clear understanding from what the coach is trying to get over to us, you know, because maybe because of language barrier or the accent of the Brazilians, and then you would make it clear for us, you know, you would make it clear for us in terms of understanding the tactic, understanding our role, and understanding the way forward. So at the same time, Coach Pitso was so analytic. He would analyze. Sometimes you will be quiet and you'll ask. You wouldn't even know he's in the room. You will analyze and soak. And then when he gets his chance to talk, he would just blow us away. He would just talk, boom, 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 and then immediately when words come out of his mouth, it clicks in our minds. So from there on, Coach Pereira also saw that Coach Pitso was going to become a great coach, because Pereira even said it to us. That he said that he said it in front of us when he said his goodbye. He would like Pitso, Coach Pitso, to take over, and Coach Pitso to revive the team. How can I say, to revive or to build the team for the next upcoming international event, where it will be the AFCON or the next World Cup.
Yeah.
And even Coach Pereira, such as a legend himself as a coach who has worked all across the world, could see that in Coach Pitso. Us as players, we also saw that.
He eventually became Africa's best coach, statistically one of Africa's best coach, or Africa's best coach, because I think he has 3 CAF Champions League, 2 with Al Ahly, 1 with Mamelodi Sundowns, maybe 8 league titles now. I've lost count, 8 or 9.
A lot, yeah.
Before he coached Sundowns, Ted Dimitro and Gordon Egerson had 4 league titles each. Those were in the PSL era.
Yeah.
And Pitso got 5 in a very short period of time. So he became iconic domestically.
Yeah.
And he just lost an opportunity even now, because Saudi Arabia is evolving as we speak.
Correct. Yeah.
And he left Al Ahly before it got acquired by the Saudi nation. And they just signed Roberto Firmino. So he would have had this Galaxy of Stars to coach as well. So he became a super coach. Let's quickly whiz through parts of your career, but I want to touch on Chiefs, not specifically year on year, but how would you characterize your stay at Chiefs? Because in my estimation, you are a club legend, and I think when you joined TS Galaxy, we shot videos, and I specifically spent maybe the first 2 minutes, and I said, a club legend at the club, and you score the most goals in the PSL era for the club.
Yeah.
Surely a conversation needs to be had with a player to ascertain whether or not it's a good idea to go to another team or be around the team. And I said the same thing about Happy Jele as well, because I was speaking how I felt at the time. And factually, you guys were icons at those clubs. You broke records at those clubs.
Correctly.
How would you characterize your stay there? Was it mostly enjoyable? And how about the last 8 years as well, where for the first time in our lifetimes, we see Kaizer Chiefs not winning a single trophy?
It was an all-round stay. My time spent at Chiefs, it was an all-round stay in terms of highs, lows, mids, semi-mid, semi-high, semi-lows. It was all-round also in terms of breaking records, best defensive record in all time, together with the group with our McCarthy and Patrick Mabedi, that era. So we were joined in terms of conceding less, breaking the record of most points.
Yes.
Most points in the PSL for Kaizer Chiefs, breaking the records in terms of a whole lot of other records.
You must have scored the goal against Sundowns in that run for the 71 points, right? There was a title run that you guys were on, and there's a match where you score against Sundowns, you specifically score against Sundowns, and I think mathematically it becomes over. But there were so many dope moments, like you won 2 league titles, 2013, 2015 as well. You know, it was, I agree with you, it was an all-round mix, and then there was the downsides as well. But how do you come out of that experience as, like, do you agree that you are a club legend when you get out? You go in as a Bernard Parker, who's an international player. You get out as a club legend. Do you agree with that status?
Definitely. And I will proudly say I'm a club legend. You know, there's I'm just saying that because deservedly so, I'm a club legend, because I've got history at the club. other players would say they're club legends and they've only spent 3 years at the club and they haven't done, they don't have history at the club. And, you know, after the glory days, and after the Kosi Rise days, you know, there was a transition that happened at the club, you know, and when the transition was made, you know, we as a club, we just couldn't revive those glory days or those Kosi Rise days anymore. So it was a hiccup, and also at the same time there was a lot of positives as well during those days of years of drought, where we go all the way to the Champions League final, and here is Bernard Parker captaining the team right through all the way to the Champions League final. Here's Bernard Parker, who scored the goal for us to go through, you know, go through to the next round, go through to the knockout stages after beating Wydad, you know, after Wydad gave us 4-0 in the first round. And
that was a drubbing.
You know, and then the whole country thought that Wydad now is coming here to give us a whacking again.
Well, they came with a weakened squad, and they admitted to this. Because I remember looking at the team sheet, I look at the players that they played in that 4-0, and I look at the players that they played in the game that you guys beat them. Well, you had to beat whoever's in front of you anyways. But I remember specifically that I think they even didn't have an 18-man squad. Maybe they had a 16-man squad, something like that. They underestimated it. And what happened, and I said this, that football is poetic sometimes. And sometimes you don't delela this game because... On one hand, the team that you allowed a way back into this tournament is the team that knocked you out in the semi-final. And if you remember the semi-final, they had 23 shots. That, if I was betting on that game, with that Casablanca all the way because of their tournament experience, more superior players over the two legs. But Njabulo Blom, he finds Nurkovic somehow. They go to the VAR and it's a goal. And I'm like, and from that moment onwards, they keep on attacking. They come back to South Africa, they keep on attacking, and they can't score. For some reason, they just couldn't score.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we adopted some sort of solidarity in terms of our defense, and I was brought in as a midfielder. You know, I had to now change my role from an attacker to a midfielder, and it worked. It worked, whereas
that was a frustration, though. I have to say this because you're one of my favorite players. We had to start criticizing you and the country because in our eyes, when you're at Thunder Royal Zulu, when you are at FC20, when you're at Bafana, you are a forward. There's a game that you guys beat Amazulu 6-0. Do you remember how many goals you scored there?
4 goals.
You scored 4 goals because in our eyes, you are a forward. And when they started changing your position, we are angry at you for not performing. But all the time, if you look at it, you're like, damn, they're playing him left back, they're playing left-sided midfield, and
sometimes
I remember
holding midfield.
There you go. And I remember saying to people, this guy has played 60 matches scoring 1 goal because we couldn't stop seeing you as a forward.
Correct.
Now, what do you do in that moment? Like, do you have a conversation with the coach and say, look, I'm a forward, or you accept it, you become disciplined and say, let me play a role here? Like, what's going through your mind? Because I'm sure you do see that Parker is not scoring. Why they're always playing him? Because we never stopped seeing you as a forward.
Correct. And as a goal scorer. You never stopped seeing me as a goal scorer. And I became so selfless where I became a team player. I did everything for a team. And where a team deploys me, I'll give my best. You know, and if the coach feels like he needs to use me in a certain role, I'll go in the role and I'll give my best. So even though the players that you guys were happy about are happy on the bench, and I will have to go play in his position and he's happy on the bench, and you're not happy about me there putting my ass on the line and
but other players, Bernard, like other professionals would have gone and knocked. You know this, like. If a Steven Pienaar is played out of position, you would know this. You would go and knock and say, yo, you have expectations of me. You want me to assist. You want me to score. At Everton, he was played as an attacking midfielder. When he goes to Spurs, I think Harry Redknapp tries to play him left-sided.
Yeah.
And even at Bafana,
as a false wing.
Yeah. And he doesn't perform. And he goes back to Everton. And they played him central attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
And he scores again and assists again. You know this, that with professionals, you are humble to your detriment. So you are a soldier for your club.
Yeah.
But to your, it has a negative impact on you because, like I said, people don't stop seeing you as a goal scorer.
Yeah.
You saying, okay, I'm a soldier, I'll go to war for you. But we think you are a forward. And I could see it, like you could see that you are there up top and then number 10, and then eventually number 6, and then number 3 sometimes. And you always agree to it. Was there no moment where you're like, yo, I'm a forward? And because remember, with your contracts, you guys have contracts where it's built in. I remember
performance-based.
Exactly. I remember there's a player who plays for Newcastle, Joe Linton. They signed him as a striker, so it's performance-based contract. They will give him X amount of money. You get 100,000 if you get to 10 goals.
Yeah.
Or 500,000 if you get to 10 goals.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe comes in, and even before that, they change him into a central midfielder. Now they have to find a different way to compensate him because they're not playing him as a forward anymore. And he now is a good midfielder because they saw that in him that he could be a good midfielder.
Yeah.
Maybe now he's happier because they've found a way to compensate him for the goals that he can't score from midfield. So you were humble to your detriment. It's a good thing to have that attitude, but it was to your detriment. I think that's my opinion.
I think I'll agree with you on that. Also at the same time, I love the club so much. I would say I love the club so much.
Yeah.
Not I love the club so much. Whereas I would do anything. I would do anything for the club. So I didn't think in that sense or in that direction, in that kind of way. I would just do anything. And with the chop and changes of coaches coming in and out, and then it was Solinas. After Solinas, it's Coach Gevenand. After Coach Gevenand, Coach Mirendorp. And then Coach Stewart now came in lastly. I played under all of them. And the public sees me, as you said, as a forward, as a goal scorer. And the coaches who's got the highest level of education, they know what they're doing. They know where they're playing me and why they're playing me there. But I would say within those moments, I've learned so much, I've experienced so much, and I've helped so much, I played against Njabulo Blom. I'm not surprised that Njabulo Blom is where he is today.
He's developed over the last 2 years.
Yeah, because I felt like, he was here under my arm. He was here next to me. He went through stuff here next to me. Same as Siyabonga Ngezana, he went through stuff here next to me. It's by no surprise to me because what I gave to the club to the best of my ability, I feel like to everything that I've given to the best of to the club and what the club has given to me because they've improved my life, my family life, and all of that. I feel like I am a club legend by right, and I will walk tall and walk proud everywhere I go. If people label me as a legend, I'm grateful. If people do not label me as a legend,
you never speak for themselves. Also.
I take it, But as through all my time at the club, I believe that I'm a legend, because I've got history at the club,
Absolutely.
And not so many players can play for so many years at the club.
I asked Willard Katsanda the same question. What did the 2020 season do for you? Because that was devastating for fans.
Yeah,
13 months on top of the league. Give or take, there was COVID as well. And then in the last 32 minutes of the season, you lose it. Kambala equalizes, Sundowns. Mabua scored a hat-trick, which is underrated. That no one talks about this. On the other side, Sundowns has to beat Black Leopards. And I think Mabua, if I'm not mistaken, he scores a hat-trick on the other side. So they do their job. And then on the other side with you guys, Kambala scores an equalizer. What did that dressing room look like? Without dwelling too much on the build-up and everything else, but what did that dressing room look like after that? after that moment? What did you feel about it, even yourself? Because that would have been like a big statement to Sundowns to say, because they have 6 league titles now. You would have broken that pattern.
In a row.
In a row, yeah. In a row. You would have broken it. They would have been on 3 now, or something like that. What did that dressing room look like?
I couldn't see what a dressing room looked like. I could hear what it felt like, but I didn't see what it looked like because my head was in my hands, looking down into the ground, and it was quiet. It was so quiet where you could even hear a pin drop, and we couldn't even. No one couldn't even speak because usually after the game we will pray. We would just shower, change, and we pray and go. We stood so long in that change room where guys didn't want to go shower. Nobody wanted to do anything. We were all numb, you know. And that's something that I don't want to talk about or whatever. I don't want to look back at because it was just such a. It was just such a, felt like it was just such a knife or a sword that went through the heart.
I couldn't believe it.
You know.
I was shaking. When we shot the last minute video, the post-match video, I was shaking.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. I was asking Junior, how can you say that Chiefs are not going to win this league? All they have to do is to beat Baroka.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
And we were leading as well.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I think Kama scored the first goal.
Yeah.
Long ball from Kune. And then Bidvest Stadium. I remember now. It's coming back to me. I was shaking.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like people think that you take joy in one team losing over the other. I just get soaked up in this thing because I'm like, I love this thing so much. And I've said this to Sundowns fans.
Yeah.
I don't want one team winning the league 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
And I wanted a different team to win.
Exactly.
And I couldn't believe it. And my guys were like, Sundowns is going to win. And I'm like, nah, how do you know that? All Chiefs need to do is beat Baroka. That's it. Like, there's no other permutation.
Yeah.
Just beat the one that you're fighting against. Whatever Sundowns does on the other side doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That game is one of the most iconic games I've ever seen in South African football history, given what it meant and its permutations as well. Let me ask you one more thing before I bring Charlie. I can't go through all of your book because people won't be incentivized to read the book. One last question.
Yeah.
I know it might be unfair, but what was your reaction to the announcement of Molefe Nseki as the coach and the retaining of Arthur Zwane as the assistant coach?
I'm no longer there. You know, if I was there, I would have given you my thoughts, but I'm no longer there, and I found a new home, and people still talk about me and Chiefs, you know, and all what I know and all what I feel for the club is they've got my full support, you know. Whatever they do and all over the years, they've had my full support. No matter decision what they make and no matter what player they bring in, my role was to make sure the player feels at home, feels loved, for him to give his best, you know. And the same as a coach, make sure that the coach, I have to as a senior player, have the link with a coach with regards to the players and things like that. So I've just been a supportive guy, and I'm just a supportive guy. So I wouldn't give much.
Thank you for that non-answer.
Thank
you for the non-answer.
You know,
who's winning the league?
TS Galaxy is winning the league this year. Reason why is that
is that you lost your best player to Kaizer Chiefs.
And he's winning the 25.
Yeah, you know, this year it's going to be a tough one. Do
you think the same winner, maybe the different question would be like, do you think the same winner could win the league 7th time in a row?
It can be possible because they have built they've set a strong foundation and they have set themselves high standards. And it seems that the players are keeping those standards. No matter who you change, no matter who's on the field, they keep those standards. So they've built a strong culture. It will be difficult to knock them off the top again this coming season. But we've seen teams beefing up their beefing up their squads as we go on weekly. Pirates are looking strong. Chiefs are looking strengthen their team again. They're looking strong. We will see how it will go within the beginning of the season in their preparation. The likes of Cape Town City are strengthening. All of us are strengthening now. And for us here at Galaxy,
Maybe the realistic goal for you guys is a trophy, perhaps? Because the Black Label Cup is now replacing the Telkom knockouts.
Yes.
So there's like MTN 8, the Black Label, and the Nedbank Cup outside of the league. Because I think the league is very difficult because you have to be consistent over like 30 games.
It's
and
a marathon,
in a cup, it's like
4 games.
The luck of the draw.
Yeah.
You still have to pitch up, of course, and be good on the 90 minutes. But you could play maybe a team that's slightly weaker, had injuries and stuff like that. Is that a realistic expectation from you guys, from the owner, to say get a trophy? Because they got it in 2019, right?
Against Chiefs, I was on the field. Yeah,
You were there.
I was there. And it just depends on the mental levels and the energy levels on the day. Also going with the attitude as well. And I've come to understand that because now I am doing sports psychology and I'm doing life coaching. Thanks to the help and inspiration from Mr. Charlie Peterson, and now I am doing that to Galaxy. I'm doing it to Galaxy. As you can see, we improving fast at Galaxy as well.
Yeah, the first half of the season was really bad. I remember I was doing stats and I was giving people information about certain clubs, and I got a lot of engagement when I said TS Galaxy in the first 15 or first 13 games of the season, they did not score a goal in the second half. At that point, in the first 13 games of the season in the league, they did not score a goal in the second half. And then, sometimes when you post stuff and it gets engagement, you're like, I wish they continued not scoring so that I mentioned this at match number 20.
Correct, yeah.
Well, by match number 20, they were starting to score goals in the second half.
Yeah, true. And it was also a stunt where we lost 6 games in a row as well,
Yeah.
So after that not scoring, and then losing 6 in a row. I think it was almost at the same period of time. And then we came to a conclusion and understanding within the team to say, okay, our defensive record is good.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
You only conceded like
12.
8 goals or something
It
like
was.
that. By the halfway point, you had less goals conceded than the number of games played. By the halfway point.
But halfway, yes. I think it was around 8-10 goals
Yeah.
at that time. And then we said, okay, we're strong now defensively. Let's have more attention on our attacking play. And we put more attention on our attacking play, and then goals started coming. At the same time, because we were such a small squad, we were only 25 players at that time, 25 players, and we were such a small squad. So any injuries and things like that, anybody needed to be ready. So the coach, with his experience, he got closer to the senior guys. That's why he loves the senior guys, the likes of myself, Vuyo Mere, Lindo Mbata,
Vilagazi was there as well.
Kola Mlambo. No, Vilagazi left.
He left
He
eventually.
left, yes. So the coach is a hard worker, and he believes that his senior players must also work equally hard to be exemplary to the young players.
How good is
And the
Apelele
young
Teto?
players, Apelele is very good.
Like international good, like when you look at him. Forget about everything about stats and performances. Like, does it pass the eye test to you to say, oh, this one can be a star, actually? Because
Definitely.
to us as a public, we see that.
Definitely.
Those of us who've had a chance to see him, we're like, damn, this one can be a star, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
You concur?
I concur. Definitely.
Like, well, how is he in train? Like, is he a good trainer? Because that could be like a detriment. That although we see a star in you when you're playing, then can you train better? Can you run faster than the senior players and stuff like that?
Yeah, at the team, we've adopted a culture, a hard-working culture. Everybody has to pull his weight, and everybody has to work hard. Nobody rides on anybody's back, or nobody hides behind another player. So we've adopted that culture. And as soon as somebody do not stay within what we're doing,
Sure.
it has to be told. So the star of our Apelele is the star of how Melusi Buthelezi is as
Yeah.
a goalkeeper.
He's left
because
to Pirates now.
he left to Pirates. I would use him as an example as well. Apelele was told that what kind of a star he is. Apelele was told what he can do, but Apelele didn't do those things within what we expect from each other at the club.
I see what you're saying.
You see, so the coaches and the management felt like, if you don't want to do what is expected of you here, you will not improve. You will not improve. You will not become a better player. Here, we want to make players become better players, and
there's a risk though with that approach because his star is rising at the moment. It's like even with you. Like I noticed you and Tsepo in that team, and you could see like these ones are going to be stars.
Yeah.
And I was a teenager back then, but you can see like a good player when you love football. The risk there is that in the way that they approach him, because we kind of thought, okay, maybe this is a demotion because I would see him now on the Diski Challenge. But every time I saw him there, I was like, okay, he looks like he's running, he's not walking, he's not acting like a Brett or a star there.
Yeah.
He looks like he just wants to play. The risk perhaps is with these young players. If he plays and you give him a season in the Premier Soccer League, of course he needs to buy into this hard-working culture. If he plays, you could potentially then get, 20 million for him? 10 million for him? Like that's Tim's mindset now, or any other owner's mindset. Like,
For sure.
as I'm building him,
sure.
I can make a lot of money from him.
for sure.
But if I alienate him in the way that I punish him, or in the way that I say, look, if you don't follow this culture, then you go back to the Diski Challenge. So there's a risk there. I get it. I would do the same thing as well. Like if you're not running, you're not part of this, but you identify that there's a risk. Let's say with Tapelo Masego, if SuperSport says, yo, you're not running in training, and if Gavin Hunt says, well, I'm going to give you 5 matches off if you're not running in training, the risk is you're not going to get 20 million from Sundowns to buy him, because that's another star.
Correct. And as you're saying, I just picked up as you're saying, we have seen what he can do.
Yeah.
So we know what he can do. We've seen Teto what he can do. And if we keep saying, week in, week out, expecting what he can do, and he's not giving it, and we know what he can do and he's not giving it, and we keep touching it, keep nursing it, keep babysitting, keep, and he's not doing it. He has to be humbled again. And the coach felt like he needs to go back there and go play there. And if he feels like he wants to come back to the team, he's more than welcome to come back to the team. But he has to humbly come back to the team and produce again what he needs to produce. Same thing with Melusi. Melusi, he started, he had a little bit of weight issues. He played well, started getting recognition, gets a Bafana preliminary call-up. He comes back, a little bit of weight, boom, injury. Now from the injury now, because you're not playing, gains weight. But then Melusi was told that this is what you need to do.
This is standard expectation.
This is the expectation, this is what you need to do. And the coach, being an ex-goalkeeper, he told Melusi what he needs to do. Melusi worked his socks off. Melusi ran. Yeah, I've never seen goalkeepers run. Goalkeepers never run.
They have their own training.
Melusi would run before training. Then he would do the goalkeeper training. Then after training, he will do his extras and run again. And he recovered so quick, and he lost weight so fast. And he came back, boom, immediately came back, clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet. And that's where he got the eye of Orlando Pirates. And we can all testify that we've seen the sacrifices he made for him to get where he is today, and he purely truly deserves it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Not everyone speaks so candidly about what's happening with their team. It's the first time I'm speaking to you, and I've always really enjoyed your football.
Yeah.
I remember playing with you or playing as you on Pro Evolution
Yeah.
Soccer. My joystick is in my room now.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, man, I'm so glad that I got the chance to speak to you. And I wish you all the best with the book as well. Thank you very much for coming. We'll chat for 10 minutes, Uncle Charlie. I want to ask you some stuff about the book as well. Just a last message to the fans, to the TS Galaxy fans and people as well. Remind them where to get the book as well.
Okay. How should I say? I should introduce myself again.
No, you don't have to.
I don't have to. Guys, this is Bernard Parker, your legend. My book, From Shaq to Destiny, will be out soon. It's now up for pre-orders, building up to the launch on the 7th of September in Boksburg at the Birchwood Hotel. Buy the book. It's my life story. It's my autobiography, written by the author, Dr. Charlie Peterson, and supported by iTech Tiende. This is just for me to share my life story and to inspire you, the next generation, and also to inspire the kids out there to say, no matter where you come from, no matter your circumstances, if you believe, you can achieve. Feel it and go reach for your dream.
Dr. Charlie Peterson?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just said to Bernard that I'm honored to speak to him. I was playing with him on PlayStation and watching him.
Yeah.
I read your book with Ntate Mulemele, Dr. Mulemele.
I've seen it all.
Yeah, and that was an incredible book.
Thank you.
And at that time, I had a feeling, because I was a journalist at Soccer Laduma at the time in Cape Town, I had this feeling that there isn't enough books in South Africa,
Yes.
especially in football.
Yes.
And in the presiding years that you've written that book, there's been so many young people who are sharing their story. Bernard now, Junior Kanye,
Yes.
Mark Williams. There's so many people who are writing their books now. Teko Modiso's
Lucas
book,
Radebe.
Lucas Radebe as well. People with fascinating books. Tell me the introduction to Bernard Parker. How did you meet him? And how did you pitch the idea of a book to him?
Thank you so much. And I told myself as a person also, I wrote Tate Mulimela's book. I said, I'm not going to write a lot of books. And I said, I want to write a book about an amazing soccer player that I picked up as an amazing person. And I picked up Bernard Parker. And the other book that's coming, I'm writing a book of Tate Lucas' Masterpieces Muripi,
Oh, yeah.
which is very historical. If you look at Tate Mulimela, Bernard Parker,
Yeah.
Lucas Muripi.
Multiple generations.
Hey, then I'm done. I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
So I watched Bennett over the years playing as a player because I spent 30 years for Bloem Celtics. I've got the knowledge of players, and I said, I admire this player. But something in this player is that he's not giving what he's supposed to give. I wonder what's happening in his life, because I'm a life coach also. I said, I'm going to contact Bernard, and if he's a diva, then I'm just going to move away from him, because I don't deal with divas. I deal with people that wants to be helped.
Yeah.
I sent him an Instagram. Look, somebody gave me his number, ne? If I need a number, I know I've got Nkululeko. I said, I need this player's number. But I said, I'm not going to be that personal. I'm going to go like an ordinary guy going through Instagram or Facebook. And he responded 100%. He said, no, let's meet. And I said to him, Mr. Parker, this is Charlie Peterson, blah, blah, blah. But I see greatness in you. Are you aware that you are a great player? But I also see something is not happening that you are supposed to do. Why are you not playing the way you used to play? So we went through that, and I said, I can help you. And please don't pay me. I told him I'm a very expensive person, but I don't want you to pay me now. I want you to pay me when the dividends came.
Yeah.
I think Parker needed to score 6 goals. So we walk around that
6 goals to break Shaba's record
to break Shaba's record.
and be Kaizer Chiefs' highest ever goal scorer.
And he gave me more than that. We practice, and he's a humble guy. I said, you must buy this chair, this type of lazy chair to visualize.
Yeah.
Because I want you to buy this chair. I think a day or two after that, he showed me that he bought the chair. And I said to my boys that are also in soccer, this is the man that I want to work with.
How did you get him to listen to you? Because I would imagine that's not easy for a star to listen to a person that they're not familiar with.
Man, we just clicked, like a father figure. I just saw a young man, and a young man that there's something in this young man that needs to come out. The little boy in him. So we just clicked from the first day. I promise you, if you talk to him again, he will tell you we just clicked. like synchronize. And we start working together. I'll phone him before a game, after a game. Every day I'll say, Parker, watch your game. You missed this and this. We rehearsed the goal that he scored against Sundowns. He will tell you. I think he scored it with a header.
Or was it in the bio bubble or something?
Yeah, around there.
Around 2020.
But we rehearsed that goal. The 2 goals that came in with Super Sport.
Sure.
Swallows goal, I can't remember what is the other goal, but those were the goals that we were talking about. So you tell him,
you visualize them.
We
Like you
visualize
work
them.
with them.
Yes.
In preparation for a
in
game.
preparation for
These
for
are the
game.
possibilities. It could be a free kick. It
You
could be
run
in the
the
box.
side, yes.
Oh wow!
And also, I'll tell him that I know you've got a good heart. You're supplying Bokamapiliat, you're supplying Bomangmang, but you are left behind. Please become selfish a little bit. Bang those one, must 10 goals and score 1. Then you can give Bokama and all those, because we've got a target to reach. And we followed that in the two against Supersport. We were celebrating and crying. So we visualized. I said, Parker, you playing Orlando Pirates is the derby. See yourself 2 days, 3 days before the time with your teammates and everything. Visualize yourself, the runs and everything. But everything is in the book, because we said, we want to share with the public. We want to share with the youngsters what make Parker great. Humbleness. He's a humble person. He listens. Because we believe that if our players can listen, they can become better than Parker.
Yeah.
This is how we put it together.
Absolutely. Talk about the publishing. How difficult was it to get a publisher and all of that journey?
We're self-publishing at the stage.
Oh, damn.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
I mean, he has a star. It still is Bernard Parker.
We struggled. We knocked the big doors and everything. No, we're not getting involved with individual players. I said, hey, look at this guy.
I mean,
look
there's
at
a
the stats
potential
and
for a
everything.
movie to be created.
No, we're working on that.
Yeah.
Yes, because we are in contact now with FC20.
Yeah.
Steve McLaren is assistant coach of Man United.
Yeah.
Benni
He won the
McCarthy-
league with Steve McLaren.
Yes, the same guy
at
that
20.
that recruited Parker.
Yeah.
Benni McCarthy is assistant coach of Man United.
Yeah.
He's doing the forward. Dr. K is doing the forward. So this is an amazing story that's coming. The Bernard Parker from a shack to destiny. I actually wanted to say palace. He said, no, the humble Parker. That's it. So no, destiny, because I have not reached my destiny again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, at this stage. So we this is amazing. We believe we'll
What's the difficulty, though, of self-publishing?
It's not that difficult. It's tough. Because, I knocked at doors. We went and knocked at ITEC. Because of ITEC worked for my foundation, the Growing Up for Father Foundation. I said to Sambo, the MD of ITEC, I said, I believe in you as a brand. I believe in Parker. I believe that both of you can become big, entities or marketing things if you can join forces together. And Sambo came on board.
Is that why we're starting to see him on social media doing schools and talking?
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes. And Parker is that person. I said to Sambo, there's your vehicle.
Yeah.
And I'm still urging companies now in South Africa that the better brand ambassador that you can find in South Africa is Bernard Parker.
Yeah. I mean, the youth can still relate to him. Because young, especially boys, will relate to football players.
We've interviewed great people in the book, the likes of Dr. Kumalo. Everyone. I said to Parker, I hope this book is not boring, because everyone is talking about this humble Parker, this great Parker, and everything.
Yeah.
And these are big names from Mushin Etrugal and all the guys put together. So it's amazing book that I believe that schools can use, companies can use, because there's leadership.
Yeah.
Parker lead. That's what companies are needing now. You need leaders.
Yeah, I mean,
managers.
the greatest illustration of that is that every single time Chiefs were changing coaches, in that period of chaos with different coaches, they always picked him, and they always picked him to be a captain.
So there's unique, there's a Nelson Mandela, there's a Gandhi, and in football, for me, there's a Bernard Parker.
All right, just remind us of the dates as well before I let you go.
The 7th of September, and we urge people to buy tickets. The tickets will be out. There's a website. I've got an amazing company that's doing the website for us. They are here around. The tickets will be 650 per ticket. But that includes a book signed by Bernard Parker.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Yes. Because we want people to read this. Our target is that the rural areas, everyone must have a book like this. It's like a Bible, teaching you, saying that, oh, look, if Parker can do, like they said, if Mangope can, if Mangope can did it, why can't I did it? So if Parker can did it, why can't everyone not do it?
Mr. Peterson, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to everyone who watched the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Bernard Parker, I follow him on Facebook. You can follow him too as well if you want to get more details about the book. It's simply Bernard Parker. You will see there's a blue tick as well. There's so many fake people, but the blue tick will tell you that you're speaking to or you're following a legitimate person. Nkululeko on Cultr. Thank you very much for watching.